What's up everyone, William H here. Thank you for clicking on my video. Today I wanted to share with you guys meal preps on the go. Okay, now for today's meal we are going to be making a wrap full of chicken and some vegetables, and the second thing we are going to make is tuna sandwiches. Okay, now it's not just plain old tuna sandwiches, we got a couple of other ingredients that we put in the sandwich as well. So I decided to make on the go meals because I noticed that when I ask coworkers like what time do they eat or what they eat, right, a good amount of them eat when they're on the go, right? So for example, when you have a 5-minute gap from one stop to your next stop, right, that's when a lot of drivers would eat their food, one hand on the steering wheel and one hand on their food, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I've been guilty of this as well. I look for a place where I can just chill, you know, for like 10 minutes and eat my food and relax, you know. But sometimes, which I completely understand, some people just want to go. So I decided to make a little something for you on the go people right now. The good thing about this meal preps is that you don't have to heat it up, right? It could be nice and cold in your little ice chest and you just pull it out when you have that good gap in between your stops. Before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, and like my video. And I hope you guys enjoy. So for today's ingredients, we are going to be using chunk light tuna. Now it doesn't really matter what brand you use as long as you like it. Now when I do tuna, I like to mix it up with some mustard, and I also like to mix it up with a little bit of mayo, some light mayonnaise, right? Light calories. For our chicken wraps, we are going to be using Extreme Wellness high fiber tortilla wraps, and this is one of my favorite wraps to use. And when I was shopping, I came upon this light Italian herb wraps and I wanted to try it out. And here are vegetables for our wraps. Here we have some diced vegetables. We got yellow onion, carrots, and celeries. Now you could also chop them up yourself, but I thought it was time saving if I just bought them pre-chopped. And I am also a big fan of protein bars. Now the only thing that we are going to cook for today is the chicken breast. Everything else is already pre-made. Now for our tuna sandwich, we are going to be using Dave's Killer Bread. Now if you have not tried this bread before, I highly recommend it. It tastes really good and it's really filling. So the first thing that I like to do is cut up the chicken breast into thin slices, and I like to slap it on the pan as soon as possible because, like I said earlier, this is the only thing that we are going to be cooking for today. Everything else is already pre-made. We just have to mix it up a little bit. Right here you see me cutting up some limes. Now I cut up the limes because towards the end, when the chicken is about to be ready, I like to squirt some lime juice on my chicken breast so it can have a little bit of flavor into it. It's just my personal preference. The next thing we are going to do is we're going to open up the canned tuna, and we're going to make sure we get all the water out as much as possible, because once you put the tuna on the bread, you know, you want it as dry as possible, because if not, then it's going to be soaked onto the bread, and then the day that you're going to eat it, you know, it's just going to be all soggy and moist, and you don't want that, right? You want a nice, cool tuna sandwich. Now, when meal prepping tuna sandwiches, I only recommend you guys to meal prep for 1 day or 2 days in advance, okay? Because if you meal prep for like 3 or 4 days tuna sandwiches, on the third day it starts to taste a little weird, and then all the moist that was in the meat, it starts to soak into the bread. So only meal prep it for 1 or 2 days in advance. So the way I like to do my tuna sandwiches is I like to do a little mixture, right? So this is where the mustard and the mayo comes in handy, and I recommend you guys just put as little as possible, and if it mixes well, then just keep it at that. But if you want to add a little bit more of each, then you can do that as well. Just keep in mind that it is going to be extra calories the more mayo that you put. This is where the diced vegetables come in handy, and after we put all of the ingredients together, we are going to mix it up nice and well. When I cook chicken breast, I almost always like to have a little crust on the outside. I like the little crunch when I bite into my chicken breast. And this is where my lime would come in handy, because my chicken breasts are almost done, and towards the end of it being finished, I like to add my lime juice on there, and it gives it a really rich flavor of lime when I bite into my chicken. I highly recommend you guys do this as well. If you guys have not, experiment with your food. And I figured this out a while ago, and so far so good. For my tuna sandwiches, I also like to put a little bit of pickles on the top, to give it a little extra crunch when I bite into the sandwich. Like I said earlier, only meal prep for 1 or 2 days in advance. Do not go over 3 days, because the tuna will soak into the bread and you do not want a soggy ass tuna sandwich, okay? So once our chicken is done, we are gonna get started on our chicken wraps. Now this is the bag of salad. It's supposed to be into a salad, guys. And personally, I like to put vegetables onto my wraps, and I also like to use the little ingredients that it comes with. Right here, it has its own dressing, and then it has some dried cranberries with some seeds in it, and we're gonna put everything in that wrap as well. And you don't have to do this exactly. You can use your own desired dressing, but since it's basically a salad in a burrito, I want to fill it up as much as possible. I want to have it full of flavor, guys. And that's what this whole meal prep is about. You want your food to be full of flavor, and you want to make foods they look forward to eating, right? Now, I do want to tell you guys that the more you put on here, the more filling it's going to be. So if you're able to roll it up into a wrap, if it fits, then I recommend you put it. I'm also putting some avocados as well. I had a leftover avocado from last night, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just fit it in here. what you put in your body could either be medicine or it could either be poison, okay? Now with that being said, I want to leave you with a closing message. You can do anything you put your mind to. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I'll see you guys in the next one.